Howdy, folks. I'm Brian,
I'm Amber.
and we're cute. As you can tell, Amber really loved this one, and we're doing another video. So, actually, today is the same day as the video that we recorded yesterday, but it's really Wednesday for both days. If that makes any sense. Yes. So today is actually Wednesday. We're recording two videos today for your viewing pleasure. Hopefully you enjoy them, and that's why we look identical to the day before.
Except now I have lipstick on because I actually did my makeup.
Oh, and happy Friday.
Happy New Year's
Happy
Eve.
New Year's Eve. Later on today, on the day that you're watching this, that is Friday, we plan on doing a live stream just of us reading at 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time.
Yep.
So if you're interested in viewing that or just dropping by and saying hi for a minute, we'll go ahead and do that. I guess if no one shows up, then we'll just read Reddit to ourselves.
Yes. I mean, the video will go up afterward anyway, so if you can't tune in at 6,
Yeah.
it'll be up the next day.
Yeah, I might end up pulling it, uploading an edited version. I'm not sure. It depends. So we'll see. So, anyhow, let's get started. Our first letter is titled, Am I the Jerk for Forcing My Son to Wait to Marry His Then High School Girlfriend? I'm a 50-year-old female and I have two sons, Dan, a 22-year-old male, and Sam, a 27-year-old male. Dan started dating Fran in their junior year. Towards the end of their senior year, Dan came to me and said he wanted to marry Fran. At the time, Dan had multiple college options, which he was going to decline to stay in our hometown to marry Fran. I obviously didn't support this. I wanted my son to go to college and knew he wanted to too, as he'd always been ambitious. I told my son that he had his whole life ahead of him and he could get married later, but he didn't need to rush it. I told him that if he went to college and waited even just a year or two, I would pay for his tuition. At the time, I didn't know how serious the relationship was, as they've only been together for a little over a year, and I was scared that it wouldn't work out and he would waste this opportunity. My son happily accepted this offer and agreed with me that it was the best thing to do to wait. Well, this year my son graduated from college but maintained a long distance relationship with Fran, and they announced their engagement a couple months ago. We were all ecstatic about it. Sometime between now and then, my son told Fran that I was the reason he waited until now to propose. I wasn't aware until Christmas when during dinner, Fran said that she wanted to say something. She began saying that I paid my son not to marry her and actively tried to ruin their relationship. That's what it sounds like. She then said that she was blessed that that evil hadn't won, a little melodramatic, and couldn't wait to have a long, happy marriage. Everyone was silent and didn't really know what to say. My son approached me later to apologize and said that she had twisted his words, but had been constantly weighing on my mind. All the friends and family present had differing opinions. Edit, my son had married Fran out of high school, he wouldn't have gone to college. My son chose to go to school far away. There were closer options, but he liked the school that he chose. I will be showing Dan this thread and update if he responds. Fran currently works at her mother's bakery. She wants to be a stay-at-home mom once they get married and was waiting for Dan to come back home. Update, Dan and Fran have talked and cleared the air about the situation. Fran feels awful about what she said and realized that she should have come and talked to me privately. This situation, however, brought up another issue between the two and their future. Dan expressed that Fran he would like to go to law school. Fran wants them to start their life together and thinks it's unfair for Dan to make them wait another 4+ years. Dan is currently home and will be dealing with this together. Thank you for all of the advice. Dan has read the thread and is now feeling unsure about the relationship. Well, well, well.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think OP is in the wrong here. I mean, it's not like she was like, you need to stop dating Fran. It
Yeah,
was
yeah.
like, if you put the brakes on the
Hey.
marriage and
Yeah,
go to college, I'll
yeah.
pay for your college.
She didn't say, you must stop seeing Fran,
Right.
otherwise your finances are cut off.
Exactly. Like, there's a big difference between cutting off someone's finances and being like, I know you really wanted to go to college. This doesn't seem like, the decision that you would want to be
Yeah.
making, and I will support you financially
Yeah.
through college. I mean, she's not going to be paying for his college if he went off and got married. So
Yeah.
she's just like, if you hold off on the marriage for at least a year or two, I'll pay for your college.
And it sounds like Fran is very, very eager to get into the, child rearing phase of her life. And, if that's what they want, that's really great. But also, like, surely she wants him to have, like, a stable foundation, and a stable job. And it's always a good idea to have, like, that kind of, foundation before you have children.
Right. It's not actually clear to me what his plan was for, because if she wants to be a stay-at-home mom,
Yeah.
then all the financing would have fallen on his shoulders. And what kind of, it doesn't sound like he necessarily has any kind of technical like degree or anything he had sought. So it would
Yeah.
just be, um, he might have really been limiting himself and his family's financial outlook. And so that's really what concerns me here is it sounds like Fran is so eager to get on with the child rearing that she doesn't necessarily care about what's in the best financial interest of their
Yeah, and
family.
and love is great, right? But starvation is even worse. I don't know if that's not probably what I was trying to say,
Right.
but
Well, but love won't feed you. I think is
yeah,
what you are
love
going.
love will not feed you. And as much as I'm sure they love each other, which I have no doubt that they do, you have to have reasonable expectations, and you can't just assume that miracles will occur and you're going to be fed out of the kindness of out of just like the kindness of the universe, because the
Yeah.
universe does not a kind place.
Yeah, and I mean, our brains aren't even fully mature until about age 25 on average. So I mean, I'm not saying that no one should get married before age 25 or something like that, but it does take a long time for a lot of people to develop the critical thinking skills necessary to kind of weigh those choices. So
Yeah, yeah,
Fran, I mean, it sounds like she's 22 now. She may not even necessarily be really thinking about the financial ramifications.
yeah.
So it's important, if she's not thinking about that side of things, to have someone who can kind of step in and be like, hey.
Yeah, well, and the thing is, like, nowadays is a lot different than maybe 30 or 40 years ago when you were starting a family. I mean, you can't just nowadays it's very difficult to start a family right out of high school, for instance.
It's really hard to have. I mean, having kids is really expensive, and
Yeah.
it is an unfortunate thing that you do have to think about, like the finances of it. And I know a lot of people my age who, just because even with college degrees, salaries are so low that having kids is just like not
It's an
even on the table.
impossibility. Yeah, they're just like, "Nah, I can't afford kids. I
So
don't know how I would afford kids and have them and stuff like that." So, yeah. It's
yeah.
very difficult, and hopefully she realizes that they should have financially be secure before starting kids, I guess.
Yeah, well, I just to reiterate, I don't think OP is wrong because she didn't give her son an ultimatum
Oh
of
yeah,
never,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
she didn't try and separate them. She just like wanted him to put the brakes on the proposal.
Yeah, and I think I think that's the crux of the issue here. Like, we're kind of skirting around the whole issue, and it's that, yeah, OP's not the jerk here. Fran's kind of got some unreasonable expectations, I think, and OP helped her son, in a way that he may not have been able to be helped otherwise. And I think that's really important. And OP didn't do any kind of threatening. They didn't say anything like mean or anything. They just said, "Hey, go to college first, please."
Yeah. Our next story is, am I the jerk for telling my new coworker it was misleading of him to be wearing his wedding band when he's a widower? We don't even need to read this one, but we're going to read it so you can cringe really hard with me. Hi. A couple of weeks ago, we had a new employee hired at the company. He's a good guy and a widower named James, 36, and to my knowledge, his late wife passed away 8 months ago.
8 months
Keep that
ago.
in mind. Me, 32-year-old female, and the other coworkers get along well with him. However, I notice that he is still wearing his wedding band on his finger.
And I noticed that OP doesn't know how to mind their own business.
It kind of confused me a bit, and I couldn't help but bring it up with him
Just
while on
couldn't.
our lunch break.
Hey, your wife, she's dead.
I don't know if you know this, but
I think you might not be aware of all the facts here, coworker who's new, but your wife died 8 months ago. Talk about rubbing salt in the wound.
we we talked, and I pointed out that he was being misleading by still wearing his wedding band when he's a
Oh
widower.
my goodness gracious.
He looked quite bothered by what I said, but I tried to explain that I think that he was giving people the wrong idea or impression about his relationship status since he's technically single and on his own right now. Don't want to sound cruel, but I'm speaking from a technical
Oh
angle.
yeah, technically you're a jerk too.
James said that he didn't give it much thought, meaning he doesn't care what people think, and that even if he wasn't wearing his wedding band and some woman approached him, he'd still turn them down since he's obviously not interested.
Yeah, like what is okay, keep going.
For some reason, things got awkward and everyone stopped eating and just stared at James and me.
For some reason, there's just some reason I just can't pin what it is. This whole thing got awkward.
I told him, I don't know, but that really, really felt generally misleading of him, as in making people think he is in a relationship, married, when he is not, regardless of how you felt about being in a relationship. He got upset, called me rude, and said I repeatedly disrespected his marriage and his late wife's memory with what I said, then took his stuff and walked away. My coworker said, regardless of who was right or wrong, though some said he overreacted, there was no reason for me to bring this up in the first place and cause a scene and make James upset with us like that. Now he's not speaking to me and the others who sided with me. Am I the jerk? Did I overstep or did he overreact? This was just a conversation we were casually having with the other coworkers, and I didn't use any insensitive tones or anything, but we had a discussion and it suddenly turned into an argument. I tried to let things calm down, but the situation got out of my hand unexpectedly.
So, OP, please do update us when you have an HR complaint put against you.
Yes. Like, I mean, first of all, this is none of OP's business. Like, people can
Literally.
wear wedding. Like, I know people who wear like decoy engagement rings, to,
Yeah.
like, because they get hit on by creeps a lot, and it's like kind of like a ward off tool.
Yeah.
And like, I don't see. It is his choice whether he wants to wear a wedding band or not. But furthermore, he was married. Like, it is a symbol of his relationship to his late wife. And if
The guy was married. His wife died 8 months ago. He's still clearly grieving in some way or capacity.
exactly,
And for OP to be like, hey, I don't know if you know this or not, but your wife died.
well,
To be like, yeah, and it's really deceiving now for you to wear this wedding ring. It's really offensive to me
it's
that
like
you're.
deceiving who? Like, were you
Yeah,
trying to hit on him, OP?
yeah.
Like, yeah, okay, maybe you won't know that he's not
O-
technically
OP,
married
OP,
anymore.
OP. If you were trying to hit on him, you did it
You did
wrong.
it wrong. Yeah. Like, a wedding band doesn't mean much. It just signifies that you're married, so it kind of says, don't hit on me. He's not in the mood for people to hit on him anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and so that's the thing, is like, it's not deceiving anyone. It's not like, even, I mean, again, I don't even think there's anything wrong wearing a wedding band if you just don't want to be hit on, but he was married. This is a very important symbol of him. I mean, he's young. He probably was expecting to have a lot more time with his wife, and
Yeah.
now she's dead. And
Well, I imagine like it's just like hard on him in general, and I
yeah,
and I think that this is really sad, and I feel really bad for this guy here, and
right.
that OP felt that it was their place to kind of come in and be like, oh hey, you shouldn't be doing this when they just need to mind their own business.
Exactly.
How is this hurting OP?
Right.
It
It's
isn't.
not.
It
Again,
isn't.
literally, a wedding ring tells you nothing about a person except maybe they're married.
Yeah.
And again, all that's going to do, like, okay, maybe there'll be awkward questions if you ask about his wife, but, like, again, that's like a minor, temporary, uncomfortable moment, and you need to learn to deal with uncomfortable moments.
Yeah. Our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Ruining My Husband's Christmas? Hang on to your seats, folks. Hang on to your seats. You thought the last one was wild. We've got another one here. I'm a 29-year-old female, and my husband is a 33-year-old male, and he's the breadwinner. And I'm a stay-at-home mom. We used to both work, but due to medical problems, I could not keep working. As a result, I don't have what they call fun money or money to spend however I want. My husband gives me money only to spend on the house or kids, but that's that. I might borrow money here or there to try figure something out if I needed essential stuff like hygiene products, because that should come out of fun money.
Yeah.
Hygiene is apparently fun now. This Christmas, my husband gave me $600 as my Christmas gift. I freaked out on thinking that I now have to get him a decent present to match this gift. So I went shopping and got him the most affordable thing on his wish list, which was a $180 pair of sneakers with his favorite color. I didn't show him the gift until we visited his parents for Christmas, and when it was time for gift opening and he saw the opened gift, he saw the sneakers and looked extremely upset, like he was about to blow up. I asked what was up, and he asked, like, what in the heck? I decided to waste money and get him sneakers? The cheapest gift on his wish list. I said it was all I could afford, and he literally lashed out saying, BS, I gave you $600. That's about the right price for a new gaming console, and it was right there at the top of my wish list.
So OP, your Christmas present is to buy me a present, is
Yeah.
what he's saying right
Yeah,
there.
yeah, your Christmas present was to buy him a Christmas present. He said it in front of his parents. It was so awkward and I felt horrible and I wanted to disappear. But I apologized and said I was sorry, but I had other stuff that I needed to buy and money wasn't enough. He took it as I was blaming him for not giving him enough money and picked up the argument with me about how wasteful and financially irresponsible I am, and otherwise I wouldn't be struggling with money for long. I disagreed and said that I don't have a salary due to medical issues, not being irresponsible. Also told him that he could get the gaming console himself since he has the money, but he got all dramatic and ranted about how he wouldn't because then he'll be judged for getting anything for himself. His parents tried to get involved, but he straight up told me how disappointed he was and said that I ruined his Christmas, then went upstairs and avoided talking to me till we got back and the whole argument restarted. He kept repeating that he was disappointed and that I ruined Christmas for him, saying, good job messing this up. Even after I pointed out how rude it was for him to react like that in front of his parents. He's wanting an apology at the moment and still upset about what I did. Edit, for the record, he used to own an Xbox, but it got broken like 3 years ago, and he didn't want to get himself a new one, saying that there are more important things to focus on. I get why he was disappointed, but I argued with him about the kids' gifts as well, since that matters too. Also, I bought gifts for family members, so I'm not sure I was in the right, knowing that money is tight. My mother-in-law got an expensive gift from him, and so did the rest of the family. Edit for grammar. Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
I mean, OP is not in the wrong here, and it sounds like he's financially manipulating her
Yeah. I mean, he literally gave her $600 to
and
buy
expected her to spend
him
the
a gift.
entirety of it on a gift. So, like, she wasn't going to get a Christmas gift. Her Christmas gift was buying him
Yeah.
a gaming console.
Which I just feel so bad for OP in this situation. Like, I can understand them having medical issues and they want to work probably, but they can't work right now. And then him treating her like this is just very disrespectful. I think it's in poor taste, and I just don't understand why she's tolerating this kind
Right.
of
Well, and
attitude.
like having to borrow money for hygiene products, like
Yeah.
that he doesn't see he's upset that she didn't buy him a $600 gaming console, but her hygiene projects are frivolous and not necessary, and she just needs to find the money
Yeah.
elsewhere.
So I do understand, like, if the finances are tight and being disappointed at Christmas for not being able to, like, get what you want. But I mean, that's the reality sometimes, right? You can't always get exactly what you want. And that's just the way it is. But the way he's treating the situation is, it sounds like he actually has, it doesn't sound like money is that tight because he bought other people expensive gifts.
Yeah, or it may not. It may be tight, and he's just the sort of person who like likes to keep up appearances. But at any rate, like he could have found money elsewhere if he wanted to.
Well, I mean, but she said that he has the money to buy himself a gaming
Well, that's
console.
true.
So he doesn't want to do that because he doesn't want it to be held against him, so to speak, right?
Yeah.
So I really think that he just controls the purse strings
Well, yeah,
here.
absolutely. Like it sounds like OP because she doesn't have an income has no. Has to basically beg him for money and
Yeah.
just take the scraps that he gives her, and that's really unhealthy. Like
Mm-hmm.
they're supposed to be a partnership, and even though she's not like bringing in income, she's taking care of the household, she's taking care of their kids, she is contributing to the
Yeah.
household, and that is a sign of a abusive relationship. That's the sign of financial abuse when one partner controls all the finances and you
Mm-hmm.
have to beg and plead and only take what money they'll give you, and when you're forced to get basic necessities through other means.
Yeah, I mean, especially basic necessities here.
Like hygiene products are not a luxury.
So OP, you are not a jerk here, and there are massive, major red flags in my opinion.
Absolutely. All right, our next story is, am I the jerk for hiding from my mother-in-law and pretending not to be home? I'm a 32-year-old female and I had a baby 8 weeks ago. Since then, my mother in law has a habit of popping by without calling first. I have anxiety at the best of times, but it's a bit worse right now, and when she comes over, particularly when my husband is at work and not there to mediate, I find her constant stream of advice and thinly veiled criticism. Example, looking intently at the floor while saying, "You must not have a vacuum cleaner. I'll bring one over next time I'm over," to be just too much to handle. Both my husband and I have asked that she call before coming over, but she brushes it off, saying that family shouldn't have to call. Last week I was having a rough day and was tired as the baby had been up in the night more than usual. I looked out the bedroom window to see my mother-in-law walking through the front
Da
gate.
da 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 da.
And I honestly wanted to cry. I'm not proud of it, but I sat on the floor of the bedroom, ignoring the doorbell until she went away. I felt really bad after because she doesn't drive, and I knew it would have taken her a 20-minute bus ride to get out of to our house, just to have to turn around and go back. Apparently, she called my husband at work to let him know that she'd tried to visit me because he called home to see if everything was okay, and I told him she must have come while I was out with the baby for a walk because I didn't want to admit that I had hidden from his mother. That evening when we got home, he noticed that the baby stroller was in the corner with the diaper bag in it, as had left it the previous day, so he figured out I hadn't taken the baby for a walk after all. I admitted that I hadn't answered the door for his mom, even though I was home, and he said that he knows she can be difficult, but that was still a jerk move to make her spend 40 minutes on transit to not even see me or her grandchild. Maybe she'll learn her lesson.
Yeah,
Uh,
I doubt it.
Probably not, but he brought up a couple of times over the holidays just to me. He didn't tell her, and now I feel like maybe I did something really awful. I know this isn't an advice sub, but regardless, the comments and messages I have received have been lovely and have really helped a lot. So thank you so much.
Oh my goodness, OP's not the jerk.
Yeah.
Why? This is completely unacceptable. If they've told her to call ahead of time, then she needs to call ahead of time.
Right.
No one wants unexpected visitors, especially passive aggressive ones that insult
Right.
your cleaning abilities,
Like
know?
she had a baby 8 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Like, why isn't your house spotless? Gee, I like that's not a nice thing to say under the best of circumstances, but like to say to a new mom, like, "Oh,
Hey.
gee, I guess you don't have a vacuum cleaner."
Yeah, it's like that's the passive aggressivist message you can give someone. It's like she just has these backhanded insults, I don't know if they're not even compliments, but
Right, they're just thinly veiled criticisms.
yeah,
Like
thinly
Opie
veiled
says.
criticisms, where she's like, "Oh, ha ha ha, I'm gonna make fun of you behind your back in your face."
Yeah.
So I wouldn't want to deal with a person like that, and I can't blame OP for hiding in this case. They
Yeah.
were tired. They were exhausted from the baby. They are exhausted. And the husband, it's easy for him to be like, "Oh, well, you shouldn't have done this." But
He's at work.
yeah,
Like,
he's at work.
how would he like it if his mom started showing up to his work randomly and like giving him, "Oh, well, that looks like you need your spell checker's broken," or
Yeah.
sort of thing.
Looks like you should get a new spell checker, eh?
Like he's not the one dealing with this, and so OP and her husband gave a boundary. The mother-in-law is not respecting the boundary. OP is well within her right to enforce that boundary, and hiding is like the easiest way for her to enforce that boundary.
Plus, the husband needs to stick up for OP here,
Right.
and actually enforce these boundaries and be
Yeah.
like, "No, you can't. Why are you coming over when you didn't call my wife ahead of time?"
Exactly. Yeah. This is his mom. It's on him to be like, "Hey, mom, you need to cut this out. My wife has things she's doing during the day. You can't just drop by whenever."
Yeah, exactly. So I can't blame OP in the least for this, and I feel bad for them that they have to deal with it. So yeah. All right, folks. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks to Amber for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
If you like this video, consider giving us a like, and if you dislike this video, consider giving a dislike here. Don't forget that if you do want to watch some more of us later on today, then tune in at 6 o'clock p.m. on later today. So we will have a live stream going, and we'll read a couple Reddit things. So if you drop by to say hi, we'll look forward to seeing you there.
And have a happy New Year's Eve and great New Year.
Exactly. Have a happy New Year's, and we'll see you all well, later today, and then next year. If we don't see you later today, we'll see you next year. So bye.
Bye.